Hi Canyon, I'm Jason, responding to the videos you put up here. Um, I found you in Air Force, together we serve, and ever since I've been reading your blog and looking at your videos on YouTube. First when I get something down, it's going to be hard for me to address everything here in 10 minutes. I've tried this like 4 or 5 times already, and I can't break like 12 and a half minutes, 10 minutes being the limit here. Anyways, okay, I want to address the things you brought up regarding regarding evolution that you brought up from the conversation you had with this man on the plane. When you start off, you said it's just a it's a scientific fact, in which you are right. This is true. This is a scientific fact. Evolution happens. Biological changes occur. Genetic material is passed on with slight mutations to change things, and the things that have having genetic material, which creates an organism that has an advantage over others, will survive and get a chance to pass its genetic material on to the rest of the creatures. It's a fact. I mean, in a sense of everything that matters. I mean, everything in biology is pretty much based off evolution. The facts we know about evolution. When you say it's just a theory, you're committing the logical fallacy of equivocation, where you're taking a word that has more than one definition, and you're taking those definitions out of context, using theory like a hunch or a guess, just a total conjecture, where in fact a theory in evolution, or a theory in science, is an extraordinarily powerful tool. It's a very good thing. But a theory is based off of rigorous observation. It's a logically self-consistent model for describing behavior in a related set of a natural social phenomenon. It's in accordance with everything that we can observe in nature. When we find things that don't line up to it, we change the theory, which makes this theory flexible. We change the theory to take into account all the evidence that we see, all of our observations. It's predictive. It offers us predictions that it can make, and we investigate to see if they're accurate. And if they are, then that lends more credibility to the theory. When evolution says we can plan to find this, then we can see that evolution is making accurate predictions, and it's a reliable framework. It's a reliable model to study the natural world. It is testable. We can test it. An example will be by way of predictions, and we can see whether those predictions line up. And frankly, they are. These predictions that evolution makes are accurate, and it lends more credibility to the theory. It's logical, meaning it doesn't commit logical fallacies. It doesn't commit, for example, the fallacy, the argument from design, which is a flawed logical argument. What you brought up is as your strongest evidence is towards evolution to try and debunk this person. They're so weak. They're such weak of arguments that I'm surprised if they're the best evidence you can bring up. I'm surprised you believed. You brought up vestigial organs and whales in the appendix. Vestigial, the leg bones, frankly, the whale doesn't need the bones. They're not a necessary part of the creature. They do the same thing as the anal spurs in snakes. They're not attached to the rest of the skeleton. They're pretty much useless. They're not required for really anything. I would love to see some sources on where this person came up with the idea that they're required for mating. The appendix, yes, it does something, but it's not required. You can live without it. It's one of those things where we once had a need for it, and we do not need it anymore, based on the changes in our diet since we've evolved. The much better examples of vestigial structures in creatures would be the blind cave salamander or blind mole rat. These creatures have eyes that are underneath layers of skin. They're useless. They're eyes that don't bring in light, and that light can't get to, but the creature still has them. This is because that they are vestigial. They are things that are left over from previous versions of this creature, previous creatures in this creature's lineage. You have good examples in humans, especially more. You have the coccyx, which is the human's tailbone. It's the leftover remnants of the embryonic tail that humans have. About 4 to 5 weeks or so after gestation, the human tail grows to be about 6 to 12 vertebrae. After about 8 weeks, most of those vertebrae die off. It dies by cell death. It's attacked by the macrophages, which are the large white blood cells that ingest and destroy bacteria. I mean, so your body's attacking itself to get rid of the structure within itself. And it's what's left is the 4 or 5 bones that fuse together, the 4 or 5 vertebrae that fuse together and become the coccyx, become your tailbone. Another good example is called the Placa semiluminaris. It is the vestigial eyelids that humans have. It's what's called the third eyelid. It's the folded up pinkish white membrane that's in the corner of your eye towards your nose. You can look in a mirror and look for yourself. It's an unused eyelid that we once had use for, did not have anymore. It's a vestigial structure. Pseudogenes are an incredibly excellent example. They are the examples of genes that exist, within the DNA, but they don't have the ability to code protein. They don't actually do anything. They're simply there. They're leftover. It's leftover DNA from our biological ancestors. So, I mean, the fact that these don't actually do anything, but they're still there, again, more evidences of natural selection. You were saying that evolution has been disproved, or it's a disproved theory. It's 100% false. I'm not sure how you came to that conclusion. I would love to see the reading list and the evidence that turned you to come to that conclusion. I mean, frankly, I'm not sure how you could have possibly understood that if you're reading any credible source of science. I mean, really, I'm really curious. You're saying if evolution is true, then Christianity is wrong. That's basically what I drew from the conclusion that you were saying. All the other religions can accept evolution except for Christianity. So you started reading into it, which simply doesn't make sense. It was sounding to me like Christianity will be the intellectual, will be the outcast if it doesn't concur with 150 years of rock solid science and evidence and observations. I mean, the conclusion you drew here is an enormous leap for someone who's only been a Christian for a few years. I would suggest you re-examine the evidence. Francis Collins, he was the head of the Human Genome Research Project, and he's certain that evolution occurs, evolution by natural selection, by common descent occurs. He can be quoted as saying, I'm going to paraphrase here, but he's quoted as saying that if there's any doubt within the fossil record that humans evolved by way of common descent, a common ancestry, then rock solid, watertight DNA rock solid evidence could be found within human DNA. So there's really no chance to understand that. I mean, I'm not sure if you're Catholic or whatever the case is, but Catholicism addresses accepts the notion of theistic evolution. I mean, dismissing the entire science is pretty much lunacy. It's a horrible idea. But anyways, I just want to get some questions. What kind of evolution or creationism do you believe in? If you believe creationism is 100% true, according to what you posted before, do you believe that the Earth is 6 to 10,000 years old, or the universe is 6 to 10,000 years old, or what the case is? If you could further define what you believe in, I'm not going to claim to say what you believe in. I'd rather get it from you. Please respond and let me know. But we can talk about it and see what kind of evidence you had to support your claim, and if it's reasonable in any way. But anyways, please respond. I'm looking forward to seeing what you have to say. So here's to you, and I hope you have a good night, and hope I'm not over 10 minutes. Take care.